Hi, and welcome to Fostering Conversations, produced by CASA of Southwest Missouri. This is a podcast where we share the real stories of real children navigating the foster care system. My name is Shelby Blakely, and I'm our training coordinator. Today, we have the amazing opportunity to talk with Jennifer Russell. Hey! So Jennifer is the Communications and Customer Experience Manager at Great Southern Bank. She has a bachelor's degree in Organizational Communication and Development, a master's degree in Communication, and a certificate in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Leadership. Jennifer has spent years serving the community in so many different ways. She served on Springfield Little Theater's board of directors and is involved with the Public Relations Society. Over the years, she's volunteered with Junior Achievement, United Way, American Red Cross, Harmony House, Foundation for Springfield Public Schools, CASA, and even spent several years helping with Arts Fest. In 2025, this girl received the Bill and Ann Turner Distinguished Community Service Award in recognition of her dedication to volunteerism. She is also about to graduate from Leadership Springfield, so I'm so excited that she's here with us. That's a pretty big, awesome resume.
That was a mouthful. My bad.
No, it was awesome. You have some pretty awesome achievements to mention. Yeah, and then with CASA, she's not only serving on our board of directors and helping run our ambassador program, but she's been a volunteer for 5 years already. So thank you for taking the time to come in and talk with us today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Okay, well, we'll just jump in if that's all right with you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. You have spent years volunteering and advocating for children and families in our community. What first inspired you to begin that journey?
Yeah. So really it starts with my family, specifically my stepsister.
Okay.
So it was around 2017, I think. She decided to fight for guardianship of her half brother.
Okay.
And their mom had passed away when she and I were 16, and he was just 5 years old at the time.
Okay.
And he had ended up in a situation that was just not a great situation. And it was really negatively affecting like his mental health and other things. And so my sister just decided, like, I'm not gonna let that stand. And so she started that fight, and it was hard. And honestly, it got kind of ugly at times. And it unfortunately created some real divides that are still there to this day.
Mhm.
But she didn't give up, and neither did her husband. And they ended up winning that guardianship battle.
Wow.
Yeah. And so he moved here right before his freshman year of high school. And I call him my bonus brother. So anytime I say that, I always have to stop and explain because people are like, what do you mean by a bonus brother?
Yeah.
But he's my bonus brother. I
Sweet.
genuinely he's my brother. And he's graduating from college this May and just absolutely thriving. And so watching that and like watching what happened when somebody loved him and refused to give up on him,
Yeah.
and just wanted to keep fighting for him, it made me want to be that person for a child who didn't already have somebody in their corner. So that's when it kind of started. For me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a long battle that they went through too, it
Was,
sounds
yeah.
like.
We were 16 when their mom
Okay.
passed away, and he was 5 years old. So
Okay.
obviously she wasn't old enough to take guardianship
Oh,
then.
yeah.
But it was around 2017 is when she was old enough and, kind of had that
Mhm.
stability to be like, I need to
Yeah.
do something about this.
Well, and it had obviously been on her heart
Yes.
for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
that would be difficult with grieving at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm glad she was able to have some stability before he was able to
Yeah.
join. But wow, how exciting. And he's happy. He's thriving.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Graduating college.
She was like homecoming king at Missouri State. He's very involved in all sorts of social things, and he's really involved in Theta Chi. And
Cool.
he's a very ambitious guy. Yeah, but he's thriving. So
Well, it sounds like it might be a family trait. Ambition. I don't know. Some
Maybe.
big orders. We're knocking them out. Perfect. Okay, well, thank you. So
Yeah.
that kind of just started your like need for wanting to help others. And so as different opportunities came, you were just like, yep, and that works, and that works, and that works.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I'm excited to see what happens next and
Yeah.
what new orgs show up in your resume. You definitely will have to add this to your resume. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I love that you're a part of CASA. That's how we've met. But how did you get started with CASA? And what has that experience meant to you?
Yeah. So, how I got involved with CASA, it started kind of around the same time my sister was going through that. I think it was like maybe 2018 or 2019. I was serving on the United Way's community investment panel.
Mhm.
And so, panelists basically are reviewing community grants and kind of listening to presentations from different nonprofits and giving the United Way recommendations on how to allocate their funds.
Okay.
And so that year, I happened to be in the group that was reviewing CASA. It was one of our
Yeah.
organizations. And I had heard of CASA before, but I honestly just had no clue what they did.
Sure.
And then Laura Farmer, our executive director, she got up and she presented and she told stories and she was sharing numbers and what the impact can be when, a child has one caring adult. And I was like barely holding it together in that room because
Yeah.
like the parallels between what my sister was going through with my brother and then, what Laura was talking about was just
Mhm.
like so I don't know, a very like clarity moment for me, I think.
Sure.
And so I was really excited about CASA, but honestly, when I walked away from that presentation, what I felt called to do was not actually CASA,
Okay.
and it was to be a foster parent.
Sure.
Yes. And so that's what I walked away wanting. However, my husband was a little hesitant and nervous about that, and he had very valid reasons.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of held on to it and thought, okay, maybe we can revisit this again in the future. We can talk about
Mhm.
fostering later. You just need some time.
Yep.
But I never stopped thinking about CASA.
Sure.
It was still just in the back of my mind. And then COVID hit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the world,
Pre-COVID, post-COVID, am I right?
yeah, there's a very significant,
Yes.
yeah. So, COVID hit, the world kind of stopped.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of us spent that time questioning or wondering, like, what were we really doing with our time? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I think it really like reprioritized a lot of things for people. And so it was early 2021. And I was having lunch with a couple of my friends.
Yeah.
And I was talking again about how I wanted to foster, but my husband was still, pretty nervous about it
Mhm.
and wasn't on board for that yet. And that maybe I should just call CASA because that was a way to like still be involved with that community and that population.
Yes.
And my friend Delaney was basically like, well, duh, like, why haven't you already done that? And she ended up, while we were sitting there, texted her friend Kristen, who happened to be one of the older youth specialists at the
Mhm.
time, and gave her my phone number, told her she knew to contact me. And Kristen did that promptly. And so here I am. That is, it took me a few years, but that's how I got here.
Okay, I
Yeah.
love that story, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So, what has being a CASA meant to you now that you're a couple cases in, a couple years in? What has that impact meant to you?
Being a CASA is incredibly meaningful. Um, and we are foster parents now. But there have actually been a few times in our case where I have thought, I kind of wish I was my kid's CASA instead of their foster parent,
Yeah.
just because I feel like the ability that a CASA has to really advocate and to
Mm.
almost demand changes or,
Yeah.
for things to happen where a foster parent doesn't have that same, it's just not their role. And so I love being a CASA.
Mm.
I think everybody should have one. Yeah. So it's been, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little different, that natural advocacy that you have so well honed in yourself. You're like having to hold yourself back a little bit as a foster parent,
Yeah.
it sounds like.
Yeah, with our kids that we have now, the caseworker was like, "I chose you because you were a CASA," and now I'm like, she probably hates to see me come in because I'm like, "Hey."
I've got my CASA hat on
Yeah.
today. Awesome. Okay, well, thanks for sharing about your impact and
Yeah,
what CASA has meant to you.
yeah,
Um, we've talked about how you're a foster parent
yeah,
now. So, what was it like experiencing that transition, I guess? We've kind of touched on it, but
yeah. I honestly I don't even know when it happened, really, when my husband decided, "Okay, this is something that I can do."
sure.
But I do think that CASA had a big impact on that, like my volunteerism with CASA, because I think he saw how much it meant to me And so, he was kind of going through some changes himself and was finally like, okay, like, I think I could do that.
Cool.
Even then, though, like, we just didn't pull the trigger. Like, we were talking about it, but we just hadn't, like, acted or done anything yet. And then it was December of 2024. A family friend reached out and was asking about the possibility of us being a kinship placement. And it was crazy because at the time, she didn't even know that foster care was something that we had been considering or talking about. Like, she had no idea. So it was just really landed in our lap out of nowhere. And ultimately, that placement didn't pan out, but it was the push that we needed to kind of get started. And so it was like the very last week of the year in 2024 is when we submitted our application to get licensed. And we were licensed by like late May in 2025.
It's speedy, huh?
It was
You
speedy.
gotta get ready for that one.
It is speedy. And they told us at different points, like, once you're licensed, like, be ready. Like, a call is coming very quickly.
Yeah. I remember talking to you during some of those times. And every time I'm like, okay, and do we have children placed yet? Because you were talking about, you had said that exactly to me.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
told us to be ready.
Yes. Well, and when we got the call for our kids, like, it went from like, you have the weekend to think about it to like, we're bringing them tonight. And so it was like like it happens quick.
Heard.
Yeah.
Like, how did you even prepare for that, I guess?
We knew the age group that we were, like our max age, I guess, that we
Sure.
were willing to take. And so we kind of had a room prepared and we had like a few necessities. But yeah, when I got that call and it was okay, we're gonna bring them to you tomorrow. And so we were like, okay, we gotta run to Target, we gotta get some stuff,
Yeah.
whatever. And we were literally walking into Target and she called me back and she's like, I have to bring them to you tonight. And I was like, what do they eat? Like, I panicked.
Tell me everything.
Yeah. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. Well, and we didn't even we have 2 kiddos. We only had 1 bed at the time. Luckily, I had a friend who still had a crib from when her daughter. And so it was like, I gotta come get that tonight. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it worked out. It's crazy because I have since then online seen foster parents talk about how it took years to get licensed.
Oh.
Which is so crazy to me because our process was pretty painless. I mean, for the most part, I will admit I can be a little pushy sometimes, and I'm not afraid to follow up with people and ask, like, hey, where's that at?
Natural advocate, you know.
So that may have helped just to make sure that we were moving along.
Fair.
The classes were kind of a different story. So the classes you have to go through to become a foster parent. And logistically, it wasn't difficult, but just the subject matter was pretty tough. And especially for my husband, it brought up some trauma for him. And so we were very intentional about after class, like debriefing, talking through it together, making sure like we were on the same page.
Yeah.
And that we were doing it together.
Love that.
Yeah.
We even see that in our pre-service for our CASA volunteers.
Yeah.
Sometimes these are very hard topics. Abuse and neglect is not fun, oftentimes.
Right.
But we have to be trauma informed.
Yes.
And then we can build a relationship and then have some fun, hopefully.
Yes.
But yeah, we even have to talk about that in our pre-service training.
Yes.
So I'm sure it's a little more in-depth than foster care too.
Yeah. Just to, you're bringing that kid into your home and you need to know how to navigate the things that they're going through. And so, yeah, it was tough, but
Totally.
it was good.
Sounds like it's kind of brought you and your husband together in a new way too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I would definitely, say so.
Cool. Okay. And you wear a lot of different hats. We've established that for sure. Between work, fostering, volunteering, how do you find that you're able to balance all of that?
Yeah. So for me, it's community. That is the real answer. And it starts with my husband.
Yeah.
And I know that's cliche,
No,
but
it's real.
it's very real. Yeah, he is the reason that so much of what I do is possible. He picks up the slack a lot. Whether work events are pulling me away, whether it's a volunteer effort that is going longer than I anticipated, or even if I'm just stretched kind of thin.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert. So
Yeah.
sometimes things get people-y and I need, like that time
Mhm.
to Kind of decompress.
depeopleize or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
you know?
Reset. Mentally recharge. Yeah. All things.
We'll use real words. You're right.
So truly, like, none of it works without him. But I have incredible parents. They're
Yeah.
great. I have great friends, present company included.
Bestie.
Yes. And so having that kind of support system is just something that I genuinely, like, do not take for granted at all. But I'm also really fortunate to work somewhere of that, like, walks the walk. Great Southern offers paid time off for volunteerism
How cool.
at every level of the company. And I have, some flexibility with my schedule because I have an amazing director who really understands, like, family first and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that makes a huge difference when I'm trying to show up for multiple things all at once.
Yeah.
But then I'm also a list maker
Mm-hmm.
and I have a color coded calendar.
Yeah.
And if it is not on the calendar in the right color, it does not exist.
Mhm.
Just not at all. So that's a big deal. But so at the end of the day, I think balance probably looks different for everybody as far as how they do that. But for me, it just looks like having a lot of really great people that have my back and my color coded calendar.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I don't think they or I would have your back. No, we would have your back, but you do the same for us, is what I mean.
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I get where you're going.
Thank
now.
you.
Thank you.
We got there. It was a nice thing, not a mean thing, I promise. No, you're so great, and you're part of the community that
Yeah.
supports you, and it's a really cool relationship to watch. I am curious to know what color was today's podcast.
Orange.
Orange. Okay. It
Well,
was quick.
It was all volunteer. It's orange.
Okay.
All of it.
You have
So,
quite a bit of orange in your
I do have a
calendar.
lot of orange in my
Mhm.
calendar. Yeah.
But why wouldn't you?
Several things every month, but I love it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've been able to build more community through all of these opportunities, which is
Yeah.
a really cool concept.
Oh,
too.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I go to Springfield Little Theater Board, everybody wants to know, how are your kids? How's that going? You know what I mean? So
That's
yeah,
cute.
for sure.
I love that. Well, I'm so glad you get to be your authentic self everywhere you go to, because that's something
Yes.
that's so exciting to see for me when I get to see you in these different realms. So
Yeah.
very cool. Before we wrap up, I want to know what's one lesson or piece of advice from your journey that has kind of stuck with you and what you would want others to hear.
Yeah. I will try not to get emotional here. Just because I'm going to talk about one of my kiddos.
Okay.
But so I have this quote tacked up on the board next to my desk at work. And I wrote it down because I wanted to get it right. But it's by a writer named Mania Hoffman. And it says something to the effect of, all you have to do is show up. Be scared, be a mess, be weird, be confused, just be there. And you'll figure out the rest as you go.
Hmm.
And so I pulled that out of a quote of the day calendar last year
Yeah.
and tacked it up because it just really, like, resonated with me. And then the more I thought about it, the more I thought that's exactly what CASA advocacy is. Nobody walks into their first meeting feeling confident.
Right.
You don't know what you're doing. You probably are scared. You're uncertain and you probably feel unqualified, but you go anyways and you do it. And I don't want to scare anybody for any new CASA volunteers or people who are considering it. So I do want to say that you're not figuring it out alone. There's a whole team behind you, staff who have seen it all and who are willing to pick up the phone whenever you don't know the answer.
Absolutely.
And there are fellow advocates who were exactly where you are. And you never have all the answers because there are people around you who will help you find them.
Totally.
So I think the thing that I've learned over 5 years is that showing up is really the thing. It's not the perfect report. It's not having the right answer in the meeting or even knowing exactly what to say to a kid who has been through more than any adult around them.
Yeah.
It's just being there consistently and reliable, even when it's hard and nothing seems to be happening, because something is always happening. And you might just not see it for a while, but then one day a kid tells someone that you were the best part of their time in foster care and that showing up was everything. That's where I'm like, it's my current case too.
Yeah.
So it's fresh.
Yes.
And you know her.
And I do. And You are everything to her success, I feel like, honestly. And she knows that too. She'll tell anybody who will listen, actually. But yeah, thank you so much. Would you mind reading that quote again just one more time for us?
Yeah. All you have to do is show up. Be scared, be a mess, be weird, be confused. Just be there. You'll figure out the rest as you go.
Yes, seriously. How true is that?
Yeah, be weird.
That's the big one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it and be weird about it if you want to. Cute. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That is such great advice and something we can all listen to at any point and be reminded of for
Yeah.
sure. Thank you so much for just coming and talking to me today too.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, I so appreciate your expertise, your authenticity, your experiences, and the way you've been able to build such an incredible community. So
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
We're gonna share some resources in the description as well in this episode. So tune in there and make sure that you're subscribed as well. This is our plug for that.
Like, is this a subscribe below moment?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Subscribe below.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going to move on to our finale. So, you've been in Judge Hosmer's courtroom here in Greene County.
Many times.
He loves when kiddos come into the courtroom, but he demands, in a fun way, a fun joke from them because,
Maybe on who you're asking.
okay.
My kiddo,
Oh,
not a fan.
I see.
But we prep her in advance.
Sure.
Yeah. We feed her a joke.
Yeah, just read it. It's fine. Get some brownie points from Judge. We'll be good. The little kids love it. They go crazy for it. So many of our CASAs have the little joke books. They'll bring them in, and I'm like, okay, now you have to read Nisa. I'm not Judge, but I'll give you brownie points. Anyway, so we are going to listen to a joke from a kiddo.
Love it.
And then we'll end up our episode.
Awesome. Okay. I'm excited.
Let's see.
Why did the coin go to school? To make more sense.
Oh, yeah. That's a good cheesy one.
As a thinker, I can appreciate a good money joke.
We may or may not have planned that, and I will never confirm with you. But that is a really good one for you. Perfect. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in and learning with us today. This has been another episode down and another child's future up. Bye.